hasn't moved is because the retail investors haven't really got wind of it.
I've said that many times. I'm surprised if you've been listening to me, you haven't heard me say that. But
you have.
I've said that the central banks have been the primary buyers, and they have no interest in silver. It's just too bulky for them to store. It's not what bankers use. The public, and I know this too from being in the business of selling gold and silver. I've been doing it now for 20 years, more than 20 years. I started selling the Perth Mint in 2002, and I've been talking to the public. I know my customers. Silver, it's just a poor man's gold. I mean, but it's because people like to buy. When gold was like $400, $500 an ounce, and silver was $6 an ounce. People like buying something that was $6. They could, if you only had $5,000, you got a lot of silver, right? For $5,000 versus how much gold you got. So it's just like people like to buy a low price stock, right? People don't love buying Berkshire Hathaway at, whatever it is, thousands of dollars a share. People like cheaper stocks. That's why a lot of stocks split, because people like to buy the lower price, right? So silver, people buy it, and people buy silver even with the intent of maybe bartering it, using it, as a means to pay for in bad times. So I think because the public has not really been buying gold or silver, the financial media hasn't really been covering it. And with the distraction of Bitcoin, I think like a lot of the younger people who may have, $5,000 or $10,000 in silver, did Bitcoin instead. So I do think that that's part of the reason, and the financial media too has covered Bitcoin to the exclusion of gold or silver. In fact, whenever they even mention gold, they mention Bitcoin, and they keep saying, well, yes, gold is up, but if you only bought Bitcoin, you'd be way better off. So who cares? And to the extent that they even mention gold, it's just to say why it's just a shitty version of Bitcoin. So it's like,
I agree with you 100%. So where does gold need to be for the masses to be able to wake up? Where do you? I'm not asking you to be. You're a great prophecy. Like you're able to see things before anybody else can see them. Where do you think gold would need to be before the public actually wakes up?
Well, my prophecy, my crystal ball is as accurate as that. So I know that they will eventually figure this out. But what the magic number is for the price of gold, I don't know what it's going to take, because gold's already at 3,400. The number is just so big. I remember like people gave me a lot of shit because I predicted $5,000 gold on CNBC one time in like 2011 when we were close to 1,900, and I really thought it was probably going to get there in a few years, because I thought we were going to have the dollar crisis that we didn't get. And so the fact that we're already at 3,400 and we haven't even had the dollar crisis. See, I didn't think gold could hit 3,400 with the dollar index at 98, right? I assumed that for gold to get to my $5,000 target, we would need a dollar crisis, because I was assuming we were going to get one, but we haven't even had it yet. And so the fact that gold prices are this high without any kind of dollar crisis is already mind-boggling. That we're up here, and no one cares. The stock gold has beaten the stock market. The Dow is now down to like 11 ounces of gold. In the year 2000, it was worth 40 ounces of gold. You're talking about a decimation. The stock market has been killed in terms of gold. Yet all the attention is on, how great the stock market is. It hasn't even outperformed, a gold coin in your underwear drawer.
Yeah. Okay, so Peter, one last question. I think you're absolutely right, and I think the reason why I asked that question is because I'm starting to see, the markets through your lens, and I'm also like bamboozled as to why things haven't materialized when the crisis is just right underneath everyone's feet. But here's my last question for you. In addition to listening to your podcast, you've always